Hey everybody, this is Mia with Chalk with Mia. I am actually on vacation this weekend and I'm up in the mountains in Virginia, and I wish some of it has melted, but it like flurried a little bit this morning and it was gorgeous. The trees and everything was gorgeous. But when we left yesterday, I asked my husband how much room was in the car, and he said, go ahead and pack what you want. So there was enough room for me to bring a few projects up here with me. So I'm super excited. I'm probably going to do a couple. The one, the mountains are calling, so I must go. Most definitely, I'll probably do that this weekend just because it's so appropriate. But the one that I have been wanting to try, and I just haven't had the time, was the February Club Couture transfer. So who needs luck when you've got this much charm? And I had this piece of wood cut out in the shape of a shamrock for me and then whitewashed. So I thought it would be fun to do it on the shamrock. And then I'm also going to use glitter for the first time. So I love glitter. I always say Christmas is one of my favorite times of year because my tackiness can come out and nobody can judge me because of all the glitter and glitz and stuff. So I've already placed my transfer on my shamrock. And what you want to do when you do this, and I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps. So if you guys haven't watched me before, kind of get an idea of what Chalk Couture is all about and what I'm doing here. And if you have, just stick with me for a minute or two. I'll try not to talk too much about that stuff. Okay, so you have a lot of different supplies that you use. We've got squeegees of all different sizes, and it really just depends upon the project. So these larger squeegees, actually, I've cut down in half sometimes, like this. So that's half the size. And I've even cut it down into thirds because sometimes you need some smaller spaces. Now, because I'm on vacation, I don't have my big tin with me. I forgot to bring it. So usually I have one of those big baking tins that you can get at the dollar store, and I fill it up with water because this is chalk paste, okay? And this is what the containers look like. They're 2-ounce containers. But because it's chalk based, you don't want it to dry too much when you're working with it. It's okay once you're done with it, but when you're working with it, you don't want it to dry because then the transfers, it doesn't go through the transfers as well. So usually I have a tin of water sitting here so I can immediately put my transfer and other things into that can of, or into the tin of water. Some people just run to the sink, do a couple things. I do have a little cup of water here to put the squeegees in and stuff, but we're just going to wing it today and hope that that it all works out. So the other thing that I use, and I just have this bag, it's one of the things the makeup applicators came in, so I put all my squeegees and paintbrushes and stuff in there. So I've got these little plastic makeup applicators, and I got these from Amazon. It's not a Chalk Couture thing, but they're fantastic because they're plastic. I use it to stir up the paste because sometimes it settles and we need to stir it up and have it as a yogurt consistency. And so when I'm done, I can just put it in the water, clean it, and reuse it. So I like it because then I'm not throwing away product. The other thing that I have, and I have never used these, but I saw another independent designer mention them, but I got these off of Amazon too, but they're, and I would have to get the official name, and of course, they're not on the packaging. But if you guys are interested, I can certainly put a link. But they are little clay, it says sculpting items, but they're rubber up here at the top, which is really nice because sometimes you have to clean up an area, and it's nice to have this tip or this straight edge. So some people use Q-tips and a whole bunch of different stuff. I use a lot of different mediums, but I thought maybe this would be kind of cool to try. So that's one of my other things. I have a wet paper towel just in case. And of course, I've got some glitter. Now, I've seen people recommend the finer the glitter, the better. This is literally just, I think, Walmart brand glitter. We'll see how it works. It's not uber fine, but it does, but it is smaller than big chunks of glitter. So what I'm going to do, because glitter can get a little messy, I think I was going to do the glitter first, but I'm thinking I'm going to do this layered, and I'm going to do all the other parts first, and then I'm going to do the glitter last, because when I go to shake it, the glitter is going to fall. So what I was going to do was I'm going to do, you know, I went back and forth with the different colors, and I'm thinking, you know, St. Patty's Day is sorry, I got pop-ups coming up on my screen. St. Patty's Day is mostly green. So, and if you're here and you join me, say hi and give me some emojis or something, and that way I can respond to any questions you have. But since it's mostly green, I figured I'm going to do everything in green except for this dots up here I'll do in black. I'll do everything in green, and then of course glitter, the luck and the charm. And then I've got little small shamrocks that was, I think, in the Vintage Truck add-on package maybe, and I'm just going to put little shamrocks all around in green, and maybe I'll glitter some of those. We'll see what they look like at the end. Anyway, so I'm changing up my plan a little bit. I'll do the glitter last because that kind of makes sense now that I'm thinking about it. And I've got my blow dryer here, so I can, we don't have to wait too long. I can dry it in between. So I'm going to open up my black because I've got the black dots, or no, actually I'm going to do all the green stuff first, besides luck and charm, because it's a lot more space. So I'm going to open up my paste. And I've used this one quite a bit, so it's a little, I apparently did not do a great job cleaning it when I closed it. Okay, so, all right, and I'm going to take one of my makeup applicators, because you always just want to stir it up anyways. I'm going to, regardless of what its consistency is, and if it's not like a yogurt consistency, just add little dabs of water until you get that consistency. And this is a little thick, but it's not too bad. You guys can see how it kind of droops a little bit. It's not overly thick, and you don't want it thick or else it's not gonna work very well. So I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. And I'm just taking it out of this cup. Some people have little spritzers, and you can get those off of Amazon too. Telling you, Amazon should probably like sponsor us independent designers, because we buy a lot of supplemental tools from Amazon. So I've added a little bit of water, and it's I think doing just fine now. So the thing with Chalk Couture is you hear me calling it chalk paste, and that's because it's chalk based. So it's kind of like a chalkboard in the sense that I can wipe it clean later and change it. So let's assume that this wasn't a shamrock, it was just a board, and I wanted every month to do whatever the holiday was. So I do, for March, I'll do something St. Patty's, April, I'll do something Easter. What I can do is I can just take a disinfectant wipe and wipe it clean and then put something new on it later. But because it is a paste, I can run my hand across it and it's not going to smear it like a chalkboard. So that's the really cool thing about it. For me, I sell most of my projects in a little shop near me. So I usually seal it with a polyurethane, and then that will seal it forever. So, or not forever, but you guys know, it'll make it protected a little bit more. So what we do here is we are going to take our paste, and this is just my technique. There's a lot of different ways that you can do this, and a lot of people do it in different ways, but there really is no, I would say, over right or wrong way to do it. That's the other great thing I love about Chalk Couture is I tend to not measure. I tend to not do things always the proper technique way. And when I mess up, I literally just wipe it clean and I redo it. So the other thing that you want to do, and I did this right before, and I'm seeing where some of it's popping up, is you want to pull the squeegee across the transfer and pull out any air bubbles. Because the great thing about these transfers is it's like a screen mesh, so almost like a t-shirt printing or mesh printing. So the mesh in between where your transfer, or where your words or whatever it is that you're transferring onto your medium will not leak or won't spread because of that screen mesh. But if there are air bubbles in it, it can spread out a little bit. So once I dab the paste all over, and these containers look small, and they come in 2, and now they're coming out with 3-ounce ones. But the great thing about it is you don't need a whole lot on your project. So once you spread it across, you literally just wipe off the excess and put it right back into the container. Great. I love it. I love not wasting product, especially when, you know, you're paying for something. You want to get the most out of it as you can. So I am trying. Oh no, I did the charm. Ha! See, this is what I get for talking while I do this. Okay, so I did it. I did the wrong area. All right, that's all right. We will. I did charm, and we were going to try to put the glitter on that area, but we'll just redo that later. That's okay. All right, so I am just going over, and you can go in any direction. It can be up and down, it can be side to side, whatever works. Now, the one thing is you do want to move somewhat quickly because you don't want it to dry. That's the whole thing behind this, is you don't want it to dry too much. So I am just wiping off the excess because I can feel it starting to get dry on me a little bit. And the good thing is I can show you guys how to clean up areas when you get it in the wrong area. Okay, so I am going to pull this transfer off, and we're gonna see. Oh, that's so awesome. So you can see I started to do the charm section and I didn't mean to. So we're gonna clean that off for a second. I'm gonna go put this in the sink since I don't have my tin so that we can clean it and do the other sections here too. So let me, stick with me for a second while I clean this off. And I've got my handy dandy blow dryer so we can dry it. And all I'm doing to clean it is water, a paper towel, and then I'll run a disinfectant wipe over it. So hang with me, I'm still here. Okay guys, I'm still here, I promise. This is one thing about when you're layering. Let's take a few steps, but so easy. I mean, like that, I have cleaned the transfer. Okay. All right, so I'm back. So I'm going to show you guys how I clean up those areas. I'm just going to lay the transfer here, and I'm laying it sticky side up so it doesn't stick to my table. So I have got little disinfectant wipes here, and this happens to be a Clorox brand, but you can use any brand you want, really. It can be the generic brand, it can be Clorox. I've used both, and they both seem to work really well. So all I do is I take it, and I'm going to rub it over the area that I no longer want the chalk paste on. And I will tell you that the black and the red pigments tend to be pretty strong. And so if you're working with those and you get a little bit of a ghosting effect, meaning some of that pigment has been left behind, they say to use a magic eraser. Now, I would try a little section first before you do that if the disinfectant wipe, after a couple swipes, isn't getting it off. I have not done it, it's just what I've heard. I've been pretty successful with the disinfectant wipes. So I'm just cleaning up this space so that you guys can see it when it's done, and it's pretty amazing. One of the reasons why I love, love, love this project. Okay, so now you guys can see charm is gone, and that little smudge that was over here is now gone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and let me cover up my paste just a little bit. We're going to put that squeegee in the water, and we're just going to cover up the paste since I've got a couple seconds here, and I'll put this in the water for the next section. So I'm going to take my blow dryer to both the project and my mat because I took it over dry. So I'm going to take this over because what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer this. So I cleaned the transfer. I just wiped it down with water and a paper towel. I didn't even need the disinfectant, but I'll tell you, some people say, oh my gosh, I see ghosting, or I call it ghosting, but when you see the paste on the transfer, that's okay. See how you can see where it's been used before and there's some of that coloring? As long as it's not in that mesh part, you're going to be fine. So just make sure that that mesh area is clean, okay? And you guys, I don't know if you can see that mesh I'm talking about, but there is like a little screen in between the words and the different areas of the stencil that work really well. So let me take, I'm going to blow dry real quick, so this is going to get kind of loud. Okay, so the thing about this transfer and a lot of the Chalk Couture transfers is because that shabby chic vintage style is in, when you do it, you're going to go, oh, it didn't go all the way through. No, sometimes there are dots put inside of the words to make it look vintage and kind of that shabby chicness on the transfer. So look at your mesh, and if there's little paste or little areas that look splotchy, it's on purpose. So okay, so now what I'm going to do is, and I don't have to be exact because I'm not redoing the areas I already did. I'm doing the words before and after it. So as long as it's somewhat in the right area, I'll be okay. Now, another technique I want to try that people have done is the shadowing effect. So they've done where they do the words, they clean the transfer, and then they lay it back down slightly offset, and it shadows it, and it looks awesome. So, and I haven't tried that yet. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. You can do Chalk Couture. They now just came out with ink, so you can do Chalk Couture with permanent ink, like on clothes and fabric and bags and pillowcases. You can do it on glass. You can do it pretty much almost on any medium. So I see somebody's joined us. If you've joined us, let me know. Say hi. Give me some emojis or something, especially if I know you. And if I don't know you, I'd like to know you. So this is Mia with Chalk with Mia. Okay, so we're going to open up the green again, and we're going to do the Luck and the Charm. And, oh, you know what? I'm going to do the black first. We're going to do the black dots at the top and at the bottom. And again, I want to pull. Now, when you do the layering, you don't want to push too hard on the transfer because even though it is dry underneath, you don't want it to, because the back of the transfer is sticky, when you pull it up, you don't want it to pull the paste that's underneath it off. So you do want to be somewhat cautious when you're doing layering. All right, so the black paste is still a little thick. I'm going to add a little bit of water. And that's pretty common. Don't, get upset if your paste is a little thick or whatever. Sometimes it settles, it sits, different temperatures. I don't know, I'm not a chemist. I don't really know why. I just know it happens and I can fix it, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to do these black dots up here at the top as quick as I can. Oh, you know what? I'm going to glitter. So now I'm going to have to, see? Sometimes that's what I get for not thinking all the way through. Okay, so we're going to pull the black across. And what we're going to do is we're going to dry this afterwards before we move on to the green glitter because I don't want the glitter in the black areas. Now, I am trying to be a little bit more careful with the black because, like I said earlier, the black pigment is pretty strong, the black and the red. And if I don't have to clean up any areas, I don't want to. So again, I'm just running my squeegee across the area, getting the excess off, and I put it right back in the container, which is great. So like I said, these look like small little containers, and they are, but they last quite a while because you're putting all of the excess right back in. Putting those into the water. And typically what I'll do when I go back, I'm not going to do it right here because the video will be forever, but I will go with the disinfectant wipe and wipe the edge of my paste containers off, and so then that way I know that they're clean. Okay, so we have some dots, adds a little bit of decor, and I do have some black that has gotten on the top, so I'm going to take, oh, this is a paper towel, not a disinfectant wipe, but that's okay. I'm going to clean that up, came right off, even with just the paper towel, because it's fresh. And now I'm getting black everywhere. Okay, so, all right, I'm gonna dry this off really quick, and then I'm gonna lay it back down and we'll do the green and the glitter. I'm so excited. Okay. Yay! Okay, I think that will do it. And just to show you guys, so when I dry it, see, I can rub my hand and it's not smearing. That's the great thing about Chalk Couture. So that's that whole chalk-based thing that happens. So I'm going to take a disinfectant wipe and just try to wipe off this black just a little bit. And of course, it's getting on my table. Again, it's a pretty versatile product. I mean, I'm sitting here doing this on the dining room table, and it's coming right up and cleaning. I'm not worried about it staining or doing anything. Okay, so I'm going to lay this back down. It's rolling on me a little bit. That's okay. All right, so I'm trying to just get somewhat in the same vicinity as I was before. I'm going to actually put some containers of paste down here to hold it down. Okay. So now we're going to do the luck and the charm. I'm going to do it with the green, and then when I pull it up, after I pull it up, I'm immediately going to sprinkle glitter on it, and then we'll see what it is, and then I'll add some shamrocks around, and if we think that they need glitter, then we can add them. Not too hard. Easy peasy. All right, I know we just stirred this, but I'm stirring it again, just to have it. Okay, so I've got, and you can see it's slowly dripping. You guys can see it's kind of a yogurt consistency. See that? That's what you want. And my mentor Tarina, she always said, if you can butter bread, you can do Chalk Couture, and she's so right. It's such a great description of this. Okay, so I'm trying to get these little air bubbles out because I did not do that before. Okay. And she's right. You literally just pat, let's say the butter, we'll call the paste butter, across your space, and then you take a squeegee and you thin it out all over where you want it. Okay, so, of course all my squeegees are in the bag or in the water. All right, so I'm taking a squeegee and I'm just doing it across the space. And now I'm pulling up any excess, and I'm reusing that excess on areas that need it, and then I'll put it all back in the container when I'm done. So Luck has got, luck be a lady tonight. And my husband's probably downstairs going, oh my goodness, don't show them your full personality, honey. I sing all the time. Everything can be turned into a song, I swear. You do a word, and we can turn that into a song easily. Not a problem. Okay, so now I'm doing charm, and I'm just making sure that all the areas of the stencil are covered, and then scraping the excess off. And like I said, you don't need a whole lot of chalk paste. The other cool thing is you can blend colors. Now when you do that, you don't put the excess back in the container, obviously, but you can blend colors and it looks awesome. I mean, I've done it on several transfers, but it is like a little bit of a science experiment. You don't really know how it's going to turn out, so you got to be okay with that. But otherwise, it's fantastic. All right, I would show this to you guys, but I don't want the paste to dry too much. I want to get the glitter on there. So I've got my little container of glitter. It's got little holes in it to help. And I'm going to literally just sprinkle it on the luck area. And I probably will end up getting some of the glitter on other areas. I mean, that's just glitter, right? I mean, glitter gets everywhere. I told my husband earlier, I was like, I promise I'll vacuum and sweep, because I just know the stuff is going to get everywhere. But it's just so pretty. Okay, so, all right, so I sprinkled my glitter, and after you do that, actually I'm gonna go this way. You wanna tap it. You get all that glitter, all the excess glitter off. And actually I scoop this glitter up and put it right back. Oh, yay, and actually there's some areas I can redo here. I mean, it's awesome. Yay! I just love the little hints of glitter. Can you guys see it? It's not too much, but there is little hints of glitter. Who doesn't love glitter? Well, I don't like glitter everywhere after I work with it, but I just love glitter, the look of it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my transfer and put it in the sink in some water so that it doesn't dry out too much. So you guys hang with me for a minute, and then we're going to add some shamrocks all the way around here, and then this project will be done. I've got glitter all over my hands. Get some of that glitter off. And wipe down the transfer a little bit, and some of that paste off. So I'm still with you guys. If anybody who's joining, I don't see anybody on. But if you do, I'm still here, I promise. Trying to get my husband to do this with me, but he's hiding downstairs. He's not much of a in front of the camera type of guy. Okay. Like that right side up. All right. Okay. All right, so I've got my little excess pile of glitter here. We will figure out what to do with it. All right, so now I'm going to put the blow dryer to this just a little bit over here. It's covered up glitter. Okay. All right, so got a little bit of black down here. Again, I can just clean up the areas where I've been a little messy, and it works just fine. Okay, so I've got this shamrock transfer, and they're all different shapes and sizes, which I love. So I am going to put them, and I know you guys can, let's see if I can go up a little bit, and you guys, all right, so open up my green again, and again, I don't measure, I don't really plan sometimes. I'm just using my finger to get the air bubbles out of the screen area. I'm just going to randomly put shamrocks all over. And when you're using a transfer, small ones like this over and over again, you don't have to clean them in between. You can literally just keep going as long as you're fairly quick. Now, some of these too might drive some of you crazy. I like it when they fall off the platform a little bit. And so if that happens, that's okay. That's just part of art, in my opinion. I don't know. So I'm doing all the big ones first just to get them going, and then I'll come back and do some of these small ones. I think it's turning out great. And like I said, I'm just randomly choosing. I'm trying to go into each area and just do one or two. Oops, that one, see they're starting, now I'm starting to use it a little too much because they're starting to get a little messy. Oops, it came up on me. I'll have to clean that one later. Be a little bit careful. All right, and I'll do one up here, and then we'll move on to some little ones. You know, this is all just, I don't know how much is too much. But what we can do, like I said, because we can